Take a young family with an Irish background, a great home, and swap it out for the roads of Australia and this Winnebago. Meet Pam, a leading sales executive with an idea.
Kind of just had it as a dream, and we brought this into our lives.
And hubby Kevin, a 3,000 ideas a minute school teacher. And their 4-year-old son Henry and 5-year-old daughter Millie. They want to drop their current lifestyle for an Australian adventure. Join the family on their journey, somewhere out there. In this episode of Somewhere Out There, the family hit country New South Wales. They create a classroom amidst the rocks and experience two sides of the East Coast's alternative culture. After the unfortunate bike crushing incident, Kevin finally has the opportunity to get them fixed.
We met this year, I think he must have been a Mormon or something like that, to fix our bikes. He was very friendly, a great bit of crack, and we were talking for about 2 hours. How much is it going to cost to get my bike fixed? But amazingly, as soon as he took the bike off the back, it sort of popped again, and it just popped straight from Sam. So I don't know what he did really, other than, you know, he basically oiled it, and I think he said there was a few things rusty. He went for a ride, helped my gears, and a few things like that. So it was nice to get my bike was definitely in better nick.
It's time now to leave the family on their own as they travel up the New South Wales coast.
Do you want to tell me the story of what happened this evening?
We were sitting outside having a barbecue, the kids went to bed and started to get a bit cold, and we said to ourselves we should probably just go inside, and next thing it started bucketing with rain. We worked together as a team quite well, and we got it all, the awning put away, and then I managed to get inside, and then it started literally, the heavens opened, and Kevin got absolutely saturated.
The next stop on the family's journey is the small town of Maxville, located midway between Sydney and Brisbane on the Nambucca River, New South Wales. I think a recurring theme on the New South Wales coast is alternative thinking, even amongst its country communities, which explains a phenomena called the Rusty Iron Rally. Unusually, Henry's relationship with his spoily ice cream seems quite complicated.
Oh, look a little bit. Oh, is Daddy going to have the ice cream? Oh dear. Compromise has been reached here.
Okay, Henry, suck.
He refuses to actually eat the ice cream the right way, and he's only going to suck it through the bottom.
Okay, see the sucky?
See sucky?
If that blows and fog goes in Mom's face, you're in so much trouble. Have a bigger bite. Have a bigger bite.
Compromise has been reached, Henry.
Okay.
You'll eat it from the bottom, but
Suck it
not
through.
from the top.
Meanwhile, Kev notices some unusual racing in reverse. It's the finale of the reverse tractor race, and the rustiest tractor wins. Maybe just for being rusty. It's the second race now at the show, and obviously we're looking to reward the slowest vehicle. Kevin gets rather bored and decides to look around the show.
When I was younger than I am now,
This guy in his tank is travelling around Australia. Certainly get off the beaten track with this thing. To those of us who drive our tractors and old rusty trucks too fast, you don't want to end up like this.
I'll hold you in the end, and if the end won't be my friend, then I will try hard to be someone else, someone better than myself for tonight. Hold me, I'm coming down.
We're just about 15 kilometres north of Bellingen on the road to Armadale. We're going to be getting to Dorrio National Park very soon. We're on what's called the Waterfall Way. And this is the Skywalk. Do 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 do. Do you think this looks cool, Heinz Beans? Is this worth the walk?
If suburban gardens are good for hide and seek, then imagine having a whole protected rainforest to play in.
Is that some form of fig tree, would you say? No. You guys. Okay guys, easy, easy.
In New England, nestled above the village of Nundle, we'll find Arc-en-Ciel, a trout farm, one of the few places where you can find water boiling with fish.
He's gonna do it again.
I come from a land down under, rivers flow and reach under. Can you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover on the arm.
This part of the world is Celtic, perhaps alluding to the Irish and Scottish heritage which seems to concentrate itself around the New South Wales coast, even right down to ancient stone circles.
They rebuilt a Stonehenge in the park. It was a little bit.
Stonehenge was in like south-western England.
Exactly.
This is Excalibur's sword. It says, "He who ever pulleth the sword from this stone shall be endowed with great wisdom," or great knowledge and wisdom. Are we ready?
I don't think people are going to be endowed with great knowledge.
Okay, we can't.
the family check out the Land of the Beardies History House in Glen Innes for an interesting look into the past.
So guys, how does this compare to our Winnebago, these things?
Well, they're much smaller
They're much smaller?
and
Would they be, what would they be like if it rained?
you would get wet. Go over the horses and all.
Okay, and then they just pull the cart, would they?
Yes!
Now, for anyone who is specifically interested in barbed wire, there's a whole section of this museum deals with different types of barbed wire. So for any of you guys that are passing through Glen Innes and are interested in barbed wire styles, you're gonna be in heaven here. Oh, do you think there's any giants around Glen Innes?
No, honey, they're dead.
They're dead, or we hope they're not living anymore.
How tall do you think he'd be if that was just his foot?
It would be,
As big as a skyscraper building,
yeah.
I would say.
Well, several stories high, maybe 5 or 6 stories high. We'll attach that up to our motorhome. So we'd be a bit more sparing of water if we'd have pumped it like that, wouldn't we?
We're on the way to Bald Rock National Park. You can see there's some rocky crops over that way.
We're looking for the big bald rock.
Looking for a big bald rock.
Frederick Ward, or Captain Thunderbolt, a bushranger in the 1800s, known as the Gentleman Bushranger, used to be around these parts. The family decided to go check out his hideout, which was located in what is now known as the Bald Rock National Park.
We're on the trail and hunt for one of the more notorious gangsters in Australian history. He's got his own track here, but we'll just take the scenic walk, I think, to the hideout 150 metres away. Thunderbolt, I can smell your scent. Well, what do you know about Captain Thunderbolt?
Well, he steals things.
He stole things, didn't he?
Necklaces and money and stuff.
Yeah. Was he known
And
as
I think he could sunbathe up there.
Oh, do you think? Oh, that looks like a good place to sunbathe, Millie. How
Looks like
beautiful is
somebody's
that?
house.
Does.
But you know what was good about, the difference between in the classroom and being here is that it wasn't hard for us to imagine Thunderbolt hiding out here. It was a brilliant cave. It was like steep sides. There was 6 entrances. There was a little bit underneath where in the winter time you could have slept, and there was actually a fire there from somebody that had fire, so you could see how he would have lived so easily. And being in a classroom or telling you about it, you're not going to capture that.
Police were going both ways. He could just climb up there and
Scoot up there.
Exactly, if they tried to surround him.
Looking for Captain Thunderbolt. Is he in there, Nink?
No.
No.
There's a spirit in there. Oh, look, there's another big boulder on top of the head. That doesn't fall. Guys, you're about to stand on the biggest monolith of granite rock in the southern hemisphere.
Kevin notices some strange markings on the rock.
I've worked out the system now. This is the path of the white rock, white dots. They'll take us back the way we came. So what do you think of the big bald rock? Was it worth coming over here?
Yes.
How beautiful is it? It's the other way now. This is not a round white dot. This is a square white dot. And they take us the steep decline back.
Nimbin had a great skate park, and the kids just took to taking their scooters into the basic swimming pools, you know, dug out of the ground. And fabulous.
What was amazing is that all these Nimbin kids, they're obviously kids, hippies and alternative people or whatever, but they all are in the skate park. Like, there probably would have been 30 kids, I'd say.
Right.
And they've all so much respect for each other, and
Okay.
you know, all really polite. You know, somebody left their scooter and the kid came up and said, "Excuse me, is this you?" Like, such good manners.
Yeah.
And they've obviously created this meeting place for these kids, and they just love it there.
Apparently, it's illegal to sell drugs over the counter in Nimbin. But as we delve further into its emporia and alleyways, our perception changes. There's something almost uneasy, raw, unruly, frontier-like about Nimbin.
Nimbin, I thought, was a great place, and Kevin just was allergic. So he got in, he's like, this place is feral and all the people are doing drug deals on the street. I'm like, Kevin, I don't actually think they are. It was so quirky and wacky, and you know, they had this museum which was, you know, full of bongs and, you know, posters about drugs, and it was just brilliant, you know.
I'm in a good position here to watch the deals go down. There's no other place on earth that you can actually see people trading drugs so bloody obviously. You know, just a couple of 100 meters away from here, we've got the police station. And talking to the owner of the camping ground last night, he said they're actually very tough on drugs here. And they're really fighting a war on drugs. No one's actually approached me yet, but I've just overheard and seen cash in hands changing over. It's all very discreet, or indiscreet, non-discreet. Coffee's good here anyway.
Is there anything in it?
I think the milk's,
a little bit of a nip or something?
Milk's particularly creamy.
After a quick coffee, the family see what other skills can be crafted in Nimbin. One of them being the Greenpeace candle making factory.
So yeah, going another layer on, cool that down a bit. Normally I judge the speed of the cooling by the colour in the pink wax. When this one's warm, it's paler.
Oh, okay.
And as it cools it'll get darker, and that way we know when to put them back in.
How long have you been set up here?
Factory's been here since 1989. Still working. What I'm going to do now is, well, what we've done previous is we've set the candles in the wax and cooked off their ends.
Okay.
They still form up a little drip, so I can come along and just trim them up if I want to. So, we just give them a cut and polish using
That's incredible.
this.
Hot iron. Wow.
Yeah. And just unearths the bits and pieces inside there. Back fill them in with a bit of hot wax.
Wow.
Onto the gift shop now, where the candles are beautifully arranged, and the cinder blocks seem to add a bit of gravatis.
These are the bigger ones.
Finally, needing a change from their inland excursion, the family turned towards the coast. It's a beautiful summer's day at the Bangalow Market. Bangalow is part of our hippie heritage, but different from Nimbin. A bit more well-feathered, easy tripping, dare I say, affluent.
There's an alternative lifestyle of Byron Bay and there's an alternative lifestyle of Nimbin, and they're both very different alternative lifestyles. One is pretty, the town's run down and grotty and stuff like that. Bangalow's the alternative, there's nice cafes and stuff like that, and organic vegetables.
The market also supplies some of Bangalow's talent.
Taking that long road now, it's the loneliest road I've ever been down, and I got no excuses to say to you now. I knew that night from the drive.
It's interesting to note that people have totally different ideas of what it is to drop out. But it seems that this part of the Australian coastal hinterland caters for both the psychedelic and the well-heeled. Next week, the family experienced some hospitality, Gold Coast style, drop in on the ultimate legacy of the late Steve Irwin. They stop to reflect on a small town tragedy that hits very close to home, and are delayed by RV repairs